I have stood at the edge of many things: cliffs, courtrooms, the thin line between what we know and what we only suspect. Tonight, I stand with you at another edge, places abandoned by comfort, left to the slow, patient work of time. These are not merely locations on a map. They are wounds on the face of the world, and sometimes they still whisper. We will move through rust and silence, through frozen kitchens and sunless tunnels, beneath waves and into a darkness that swallows sound. The footage you will see is real. Grain of concrete, flake of paint, a child's toy caught in ivy. Subtitles will guide your eyes. Ambient chords will remind your chest to listen. I arrive at Hashima by boat, the wind cutting like a thin blade across the sea. From a distance, it resembles a sinking battleship, teeth bared and black, its silhouette slicing the horizon. Up close, the concrete towers stand like the ribs of some iron whale. Windows emptied, stairways festering with wind. Once, this place roared with life. Miners, families, children chasing laughter down corridors now sealed by salt and age. The air tastes of metal and the memory of coal. Every surface flakes in soft gray snow. In the 1950s and in the 1960s, Hashima was a cradle of industry. Its population density rivaled major cities. It raised children under the shadow of smokestacks. Then, in 1974, the coal ran out and the island emptied in a single exodus. Folding chairs left behind, abandoned school books, a soft echo of voices. At its peak, Hashima held more than 5,000 residents on a plot of land scarcely larger than a few hectares. A human hive packed to a dangerous tightness. Today, those tiny personal worlds hang like moth-eaten flags in the wind. Walking its corridors, I find a classroom frozen mid-lesson. Chalk dust, a lone slate, children's doodles chalked into the desk. The building facades are riddled with salt-induced honeycombing. Concrete peels as if in slow grief. Local guides tell of hidden basements sealed off after the island was deserted, areas bureaucratically off-limits, sealed basement doors and barricades. There is a sense that more was left behind than memories, artifacts misplaced, paperwork never filed. At night, the island's silhouette is a black bruise against the sea. The wind makes a thin, human sound through the hollow windows. Tourists visit in daylight. The government allows measured access to preserve both safety and narrative. But there are sections where the steel belts were removed. Reinforced walkways removed. The sea has reclaimed stairways and a tide has written new rules. My voice drops low when I speak of the sealed rooms. Sometimes even bureaucracies know to leave certain doors closed. Beneath the institutional oversight, there are stories that refuse to stay buried. Rumors of personal items kept in odd places. Petitions, ledgers that suggest a commerce beyond coal. The island's history carries a darker whisper, that in cramped quarters under the relentless pressure of industry, tragedies can be hidden. One former worker before he died told historians of an unmarked ledger listing names that never left the site. A chilling reminder that abandonment often hides unfinished stories. I step away from Hashima with sand in my shoes and a weight in my chest. The island looks smaller as we move offshore, but its mystery does not diminish. They say the past is only a memory. Sometimes it's a room, sealed and stubborn, that will not stop calling for attention. There is a specific kind of silence in Pripyat, the silence of a town emptied in panic. A pulse stopped mid-beat. I walk through an amusement park. The Ferris wheel stands like a sentinel, frozen in its final rotation. Family portraits still lean against cracked plaster in apartments' calendars frozen on April 26, 1986. The park bench, the school hallway, the cracked tiles of a clinic, domestic life arrested. On April 26, 1986, a reactor at Chernobyl exploded, releasing a radioactive plume across borders. Evacuation orders were hurried, residents told to take only what they could carry, meals left on tables, coats hanging from hooks, shoes by doors. Some zones still register radiation, dozens to hundreds of times above background parts will remain hazardous for centuries. In classrooms and playgrounds, toys lie mid-play. A little tricycle, a stuffed animal, a child's shoe by a swing. Decay is not just physical, it is frozen human motion. Trees grow through ruined flooring, nature reclaiming. Human traces make the silence louder. You can almost hear absent footsteps. Scientists call Pripyat a laboratory of long-term consequences. Journalists call it a cautionary tale. Radiation's effects. Increased cancer risks, mutations in wildlife landscapes altered in ways we're still measuring. Some structures store radioactive dust in microscopic grains that cling to surfaces. Time alone will not neutralize the place. Local licensed guides carry Geiger counters like talismans. The counters mutter warnings as we pass rooms. We are told which stairwell to avoid, which swings are safest to film from a distance. Subtitles mark dates and exposure levels. The camera lingers on the faded town entrance sign. This is human life turned into evidence. Leaving Pripyat feels like closing a book mid-page. Outside the exclusion perimeter, life continues and children play. But in the town that time forgot, the clock keeps its own hours. Stubborn, slow, and patient.